Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be going through the Adelaide versus Hawthorn game, in which this game in the end, Hawthorn absolutely smoked them, but at quarter time I believe it was pretty much even. It was like 30-29 or 30 all or something at quarter time. Adelaide were hanging in the contest. The Hawks, I think Adelaide might have actually at that point only had 4 goals 6, and I think they didn't do much after that. Adelaide were up 5 goals 6-5 straight at quarter time, which is 36-30. And then after quarter time, it was 3 goals 4 to 14 goals 10. So it was 94 to, 3 goals 4? So 94 to 22 after quarter time. So yeah, just an absolute smashing. And in the end, it looks like the second half, the second half was 2 goals 4 to 10 goals 7. So 67 to 16 after half time. So yeah, just a smashing in the second half, and Hawthorn get a win to keep their finals hopes basically alive. Still, they are well within this race. I mean, they could have still been alive with dropping this one, but it definitely puts them in the hunt. This finals race is massively heating up, and it's going to be a joy to watch. Well, maybe not, since these teams seem to be hitting form and the Swans aren't, but it's still good to watch for the whole competition as a whole. But anyway, let's jump into this video here. If it will work, there we go. So you have here Shoal 120. He's actually popped up for a couple big scores. I mean, he's not going to be fancy relevant just because no one cares about a mid that's scoring a high of 120 and then 124, then a 110, then a couple of 90s, and then the 60 here, and 84, 69, he's not going to be fancy relevant, but he's still putting up some decent scores. Rory Laird's an interesting one. 127, 92, 97, 133, 97, 113. He's actually been, I would say, pretty good in the run since basically the bye. Yes, he put up a 127 against Sydney, and annoyingly, you probably would have been annoyed with a 92, 97, but he's profited in the last 5 weeks. Let me actually just pick it up on my phone, what he's got in the last 5 weeks, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's a 103, 104 type of average in the last 5. Let me just check for you guys. He's got a 106 in the last 5, 106.4 in the last 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, yep, okay. And a last 3 of a 114. So yeah, he's been pretty good in the last 5 games. And so people that brought him up post-bye are probably actually really profiting from the Rankin suspension. So I don't know how he's going to do. Well, we have next week's data before Rankin gets back. But after that, I don't know how he's going to do with Rankin and potentially... you see here, no Dawson as well, probably helped. So I don't know how he's necessarily going to do with those guys back in. Dawson this week and Rankin the next one. So you may, if you do have him, have to potentially move him on. But he might just be off the halfback, and that's where he's sort of working. But I don't know exactly where he was working off of this week. Let me just check. With regards to Rory Laird, he had in total 24 CBAs. So he's in the middle at the moment. He's not off halfback, but that role could change, and that role could make him plummet. O'Brien, 112, he just dominated on the likes of Meek. Soligo, 89. Seems like he hasn't really taken that next big step that people were expecting he'd take after, I think, this... was it this 102 here? I think that people started to think about him, or these 98, 97. I was just like... yeah, that doesn't seem like... it might have been this run here where it didn't seem right. So yeah. Nankervis, McElhaney, Dowling as well, putting up another decent score, but not really doing anything special. So getting rid of him wasn't the worst decision at the time. And yeah, still back that to upgrade there. Hinge, Walker, Keys, Soligo, Keys, Jones. Sorry, I said Soligo even though he's way up top. Berry, Keane, Bond, Rochelle. 50 for him again, just not really fancy relevant. 4, 10, 17, 19. That's 36 in the second half. He's just not getting the amount of touches that he really needs to be really fancy relevant, which kind of sucks, I'm not going to lie. But anyway, that it is what it is. Zach Taylor back to a 40, 9, 26, 3, 9, 26, 8, and a -3 in the last quarter. Annoying that he goes a -3 in the last. Would have liked to have seen him probably get a 10 or a 20 in the last, and that would have got him up to a sort of 53 or 63, and that would have been right around the point where he starts to really make bulk cash, but he's probably going to fall down a little bit. And then you've got just key position players. Curtin coming on as a sub in the second half and doing 21 is all right. He came on 18 minutes into the third quarter, so pretty good for like 40 minutes of action. And that's pretty much it for Adelaide. Then we move over to Hawthorn and McDonald. Is this finally the sort of the wake up that we're getting from him? He's gone 103.90, 64, 86, 110. Is that sort of around that 95 or so for last five, sorry? Let me actually just double check that here. 1 second. That is a last five of 90.6. So he's in and around that marker. Do I think he's going to be one that people grab up? No. I think we did potentially start him, but at the start of the year, he could be one next year if he does start getting CBAs. But I don't think he is at the moment getting CBAs, which is really annoying because I feel like he's one of those ones that if he starts getting CBAs, he'll really start to explode. So I'm just intrigued to see how he progresses. Dylan Moore, pretty consistent, I would say. 22, 23, 29. He was a little bit annoying in the last quarter here. As you see, he really took a while to get going. Was on 1 point for the quarter until the 21-minute mark where he started to get going a little bit. 1 goal, 2, a little bit annoying as well. Would have liked to have seen 2 goals, 1 or 3 goals there, as that would have pushed him up. But an 89 from him. He's pretty much consistent around a base score. As you can see here, a couple of 40s, but that was when he was coming back from injury. I think he had, what was it, glandular, some fever or something. I forget what it was exactly, but he seems to have a high enough floor for a forward, but he isn't an out-and-out sort of top 6 guy. I would say he's not a top 4 guy, but he is sort of that top 6 to 8 guy at least pretty much every single week. So he's one of those guys that you can just plop on that F5, F6, and he'll be there throughout the whole season pretty much. So he's one that I'm actually looking at next year and seeing, is he just going to be there? Can you just sort of place him there? Or is he going to be the one that you sort of you build up all your value through like Philippou and guys like that, and then Dylan Moore comes on later on in the season after the buys or around the buys, and you just bring him through every single year because he's going to average that 80 to sort of 85 to 95 region for you. MP 86, Chol, Mick, Warple. For a side that won, it was quite surprising that their top end sort of just all went 80s, which, I mean, that's more of a team effort than, and we've seen it with a lot of teams. Like, we see a lot with Geelong back in like 2022. They had like no fancy relevance other than about Stewart, just because he was a defender. We see it quite a lot. If you take out the forward status of Isaac Heaney, Brodie Grundy's probably about the 4th best ruckman. They don't really have any fancy relevant players, to be honest with you. So yeah, there's a couple sides like that really don't have any fancy relevant players that still win games consistently. Day, he did all right for an 84. Nash 82. Sicily 81. I'm surprised he hasn't taken that next big step. Did kick 2 goals, 18 and 8. So yeah, I'm just surprised he hasn't, with defenders coming back, it feels like he hasn't really taken that next step, but I'm intrigued to see him next year. If he's going to be priced around that 88, 89 next year, with potentially 2 other defenders coming in Barras and also Battle, it'll be interesting if he's played as a defender or not, because if he is played as a defender next year, he's going to rack up points. Given that he's got 2 hard-nosed sort of one-on-one guys. And then he's also got, I would suspect they'd still play Scrimshaw there. So they play a Scrimshaw, who I think is like 191. They play a pretty tall lineup. If I just go to Hawthorn, where's Scrimshaw here? Scrimshaw's 194, and I believe Sicily is around that. Sicily's 188, so he would be playing as sort of a 4th defender, much to the role of like a Nick Blakey. So yeah, I think he would average quite a lot more if he didn't have to play as taller players. So yeah, I think that would really help out Sicily. Newcombe, Scrimshaw, Hardwick, Ward, Amond, Weddell. I'm surprised Weddell hasn't taken the next step as well. I mean, he's had that's Amond. Weddell here had a pretty bad game against Geelong in the wet, I believe it was. Or was that, that was the Bulldogs game that they had that was wet. A couple of 30s here, so he hasn't really taken a big leap, other than about 2 games here where he went huge. Ginnivan, back to sort of low scores. He has a couple of good games and then a couple of poor games. That's pretty much what a small forward would do. D'Ambrosio didn't get involved as much, only 11 touches, 2 marks, 5 tackles. Just need to get him more of the footy, to be honest with you. Diath, Watson, Bruce, Frost, and McGuinness. And that pretty much is the video there going through the Adelaide versus Hawthorn game. If you did enjoy the video, remember to give it a like and to subscribe, and then also turn on the notification bell so you know when I upload. But that is the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one, which will be my fantasy round review for round 20, I believe it is. So I'll see you guys in that one. Bye, guys.